Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com. Thought we'd have a little fun video today, and I'd share with you some of the stranger or weirder watches from my collection. I do like watches that either tell time in a non-conventional way, or maybe have a non-conventional movement. You know, when I was growing up, I had like pyramid clocks, and the ones that the three parts of the pyramid spun, and I had the marble clocks where the marbles would race down and elapse the time for you. So it's kind of progressed into watches. Actually, the two pieces I'm wearing on my wrists we're going to cover. So let's see some weirdness. So I said watches, and I guess I also have a couple of interesting clocks. I have covered them in the past in other videos, and the Atmos is no exception. I'll leave a link to it up above. So this is the Jaeger-LeCoultre Atmos. They still make the Atmos today. This one, I believe, is from the 60s or 70s, and it has been serviced. The Atmos, though, is as close as we're going to get to perpetual motion. Inside this chamber back here is a fluid of a certain vapor pressure that it expands and contracts a great deal under small changes in temperature and, more importantly, barometric pressure. What it's doing is it's actually winding a spring. The spring is pulling on a chain, and the chain is what powers the escapement, the movement, etc. You can see at the bottom, that's the pendulum, that's the timekeeper. It's hanging by a really, really thin wire. They are super delicate clocks, but they are really, really cool. If the room you're in fluctuates a lot in temperature, it will actually change its accuracy, and there is a little adjustment for it. That's my Galileo thermometer. That's my big bottle of Sriracha. Islander clock. This is an interesting wall clock that somebody 3D printed for me. The big hand is the hour hand. The little hand in the middle is the minute hand. And then, before we get to the watches really quick, I'm pretty sure I covered the Geochron in a past video, but this is, I'm backing up, this is in fact a clock. And so how do you read it? Here I am in New York. I can see I am in time zone R. If I follow the R arrow, where's R? P, Q, R, there it is. Daylight savings time is the top scale, so we are at around 11:45, somewhere around there, 11:50. And sure enough, I have a little minutes counter over here. Yeah, 11:49. The date is down here, left of the date line, right of the date line. And then of interest, maybe to some people, and maybe I'll cover this in a future time video, is the analemma that's portrayed here, this kind of figure eight pattern. It's the pattern the sun makes in the sky, in the noon sky. It represents the tilt of the Earth's axis, and also the deviation from here to mean solar noon is actually what is the equation of time. That's a whole nother thing. I did that whole atomic time, coordinated universal time. We got to discuss the equation of time. But let's get on over to watches. So I am pretty sure that everything that you are going to see has been on my channel at some point, whether I was wearing it or I did a video about it. But today we're going to just talk about them briefly and what makes them so wacky. So this is the Accutron Spaceview that came out a few years back. It was like the 2020. It kind of got pushed back by pandemic. This was Accutron's, obviously, the tuning fork watch. This was their first take on an electrostatic watch movement. So there is a rotor, and as it spins, it's spinning these two little electrostatic generators here. You can see it as I move it. It's actually it's a fairly efficient winding system. It's charging some kind of rechargeable cell, and then it's powering this electrostatic motor that drives the seconds hand in that really smooth ticking that you've come to expect from an Accutron Spaceview or one of those other ones. It is rather large. I forget what the sizes are, and it is rather expensive. This was a couple grand, but really cool watch. I wanted this simply due to the open architecture, like the original Spaceviews, but also, man, it's my only watch, and it might be my only one ever with an electrostatic movement. So pretty cool. We're going to go in no particular order. You may know this watch. This is the Android Mystique Skeleton. Android watches, which is no longer around. The founder, Wing Lang, really, really nice guy. He's still around. He now does the Aragon brand of watches. This was what's cool about this watch? Well, obviously it's open architecture, which again I love. I love skeleton. I'm a mechanical guy. I love to see the movement. But not only that, the movement itself is suspended with no real view of any kind of supports. Super cool. So you can see, as you can see, right through the entire watch. It's suspended in those plates. The movement itself is an 8N24. That is a skeletonized Miyota movement. It's the same movement we used in the Rangemaster mechanical, except he kept the rotor on. Haha. And what else is really, really nifty about this watch? Ceramic. I believe it came in black and brown. This is all ceramic. Oh, yeah, ceramic edition. It's all ceramic. Pins and collars, I do remember that. Sizing it was a real pain in the butt. Nice clasp, but super duper affordable. I want to say this was just a couple $100. So this is the Android Mystique Skeleton. Definitely something that I've probably worn in a video, but probably never really, featured, possibly. This is the GV2 or Givril. This is the Givril. They call it the 8 Ball, and I think you can see why. You have this black disc, and then the GV2 logo in the center is rotating. That is the quote-unquote second hand. Let's move the time. It is almost 12 o'clock. The hour is shown by that window, so as I go through time, you can see the hour it's not really a jump hour, kind of like a peekaboo hour. And then the minute hand is shown by the silver circle on that little kind of squiggly hand. And then the date is shown at the top in the cutout. Today is the 27th. It's an automatic. It is Swiss made. It is running on, I believe it's an ETA 2824. This is back in the days. This is back when you can buy ETAs for a good price. There was no Solida yet, or at least mass marketed. I doubt it. Looks like this was some sort of limited edition. I am owning number 71 of 500. Really cool watch. Again, I just dig that it's telling the time in a different sort of format. Obviously a conventional Swiss movement, but definitely turns some heads. Talking about showing time in a different format. I did a whole video on this about a year ago. This is the Zodiac Scrambler. The hours are shown on these little spinning carousels, and then the minutes are in this arc from 0 to 60. So right now it is 11:59, almost 12 o'clock. I will advance the time forward, and you can see 12 is coming in. And then if you watch, so after 12 will be 1, after 1 will be 2. 2 is over here. 2 needs to get to where the 11 is. So watch what happens. So watch down here, please. Watch as it passes this little pin right above Zodiac. That little pin right there, as it passes, it knocks that little carousel 90 degrees clockwise, and now there is 2. So when 2 comes up here, and it keeps going around and around and around. Pretty cool, the Zodiac Scrambler. Zodiac makes the NASA watch. They make a bunch of really cool watches, just with kind of cool. Can I call it a complication? Yeah, it is. It's a pretty nifty complication. It's a standard Miyota 9015. So you gotta kind of think out. They definitely thought outside the box for how can I do something like this with a Miyota 9015. Let's see, I did 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 3 left. So this is the Hamilton Electric that I own. What's weird about it? I'll definitely throw up some photos. I am not opening this. It is their electric movement. He says electric on the dial. This was the precursor between automatic watches, which have been around for a long time. Mechanical automatics would have been around for a very long time, to quartz first starting to come out. This actually is battery operated. Look at the weird clunkiness of the seconds hand. Dum, bum, bum, bum. So it's got a balance wheel on the inside and a magnet. A balance wheel on the inside and a battery. And the balance wheel has some magnets on it and some wiring. And through electrifying those magnets, it creates a little push-pull in the balance, and that's what this make-break contact's going on, and that is what's kind of powering the escapement, if you will, for the second hand. It's that whole make break thing. So the service life on these is actually horrendous. So they do recommend. Isn't that cool? They do. It didn't snap back to zero. It wasn't a zero snapback. Just like when you pull it out, sometimes the balance just kind of like flips around to crazy places. They do recommend that you pull the crown before, putting it away for a while. Second to last, definitely saw this one. I did a video like a week or so ago on it. This is the Spinnaker 50 Phantoms watch. What makes this special is the crazy, crazy loom. It is a hard to read watch, but I love what Spinnaker did with the dial. This was a collab with Seconde Seconde. So conventional watch, tells time in a normal way, but just the dial is really, really weird. You check out my videos. It's not that old. All the ghosts light up different colors. Really, really cool. I'm not going to spend too much time on that one. I have one more to show you. So the last one I want to show you, something that I think Orient could have done better with in the States at least. This is the Duo. I thought it was a really cool watch. Came in a bunch of different colors. Orient had a lot of really cool calendar complication watches and all that stuff. Those all kind of fell by the wayside. So the Duo is actually a 2 time zone watch. It's got a calendar for the date at the top, which will give you the day of the week. All you have to do is, so there's a little like a little slide rule here. You have to just align the first day of the month to the correct day. So the first day of March was indeed a Friday, I believe, right? So the 27th is a Wednesday. There it is. That's your calendar. On the left here is a quartz movement, and you can independently set it with this crown here. See? And on the right is actually an automatic movement. It's a really, really tiny automatic movement. When I show you the case back, I think you'll think it's pretty cool. It hand winds. Not sure if it hacks, but it doesn't really matter. So 12, I don't know why I did that. So you can see it, the time change, it's 12:05. And it actually has a date. Really cool. See the date right there, 27th? Is that not nifty or what? Oops, did I just change the time? Not sure if I did. Anyway, and then flipping it over, look at that. So you have the battery hatch for the quartz movement, and then you have this tiny, tiny automatic movement. You can see the balance wheel right there going crazy. This is a really nifty watch. I really dig it. I think that's it. I have some other crazy watches from Orient. Not totally nuts, but I didn't bring them to the party. I wanted to try to keep the video decently short. Anyway, has been Mark from LongEyeWatch.com showing you some of my weirder, stranger watches. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Closing in on 200,000 subscribers. Very happy about that. Comment anything else you want to say down below. What's a weird watch for you? And maybe I'll go out and buy myself one because I love this weird stuff. Put it down below. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.